stands on the edge of renewed conflict as 2026 begins, with Ethiopia and Eritrea once again locked in a dangerous standoff. The optimism of the 2018 peace deal has faded, replaced by troop buildups, harsh rhetoric, and proxy skirmishes along the border. For millions in the region, the threat of war is a daily fear, not a distant headline. Ethiopia's vulnerability as a landlocked giant and Eritrea's fierce defense of its hard-won sovereignty are colliding once more. Accusations fly between Addis Ababa and Asmara, each blaming the other for escalating tensions. The world's attention is elsewhere, but analysts warn this is one of 2026's most dangerous flashpoints. A new war here would not be contained. It could ignite the entire Horn of Africa with devastating consequences. In July 2018, hope swept the Horn of Africa as Ethiopia's Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed accepted a long-disputed border ruling, ending 2 decades of hostility with Eritrea. The world watched as leaders embraced, borders reopened, and families reunited after years of separation. Abiy's Nobel Peace Prize symbolized the promise of a new era, one where trade, investment, and cooperation could transform the region. Yet beneath the celebrations, the peace was fragile, built on personal chemistry, and a shared desire to neutralize the Tigray People's Liberation Front, not on resolving deeper issues. Crucially, Ethiopia's longing for Red Sea access was left unaddressed, a strategic omission that would soon haunt the agreement. The peace dividend never fully materialized, and old grievances simmered beneath the surface. The cracks in the 2018 deal would soon widen, threatening to undo the progress made. The roots of today's crisis stretch back to Eritrea's hard-fought independence from Ethiopia in 1993, which left Ethiopia landlocked and resentful. Tensions over borders and economics erupted into a brutal war in 1998, killing tens of thousands and leaving deep scars on both societies. The Algiers Agreement and a 2002 boundary ruling awarded disputed territories to Eritrea, but Ethiopia refused to withdraw, fueling a bitter Cold War. For nearly 2 decades, the border was sealed, relations frozen, and both sides waged proxy wars in the shadows. Eritrea became a militarized, isolated state, justifying harsh policies as necessary for survival. Ethiopia's loss of its coastline remained a national wound, fueling strategic frustration. The 2018 peace deal was meant to close this chapter, but mistrust lingered, ready to resurface with the next crisis. The legacy of war and unresolved grievances continues to shape the region's fate. The 2018 peace deal quickly morphed into a military alliance against a common enemy, the Tigray People's Liberation Front. Eritrean and Ethiopian forces joined to crush the TPLF, but their partnership was always one of convenience, not trust. As the Tigray War dragged on, atrocities mounted and international condemnation grew, exposing cracks in the alliance. Ethiopia sought a political settlement. Eritrea wanted total victory. The 2022 Pretoria Agreement ended the fighting but left Eritrea sidelined and dissatisfied as the TPLF survived politically. With their shared enemy neutralized, old suspicions returned, and the alliance unraveled. The vacuum left by the TPLF's defeat was filled by renewed rivalry and historical grievances. The stage was set for the current confrontation, with both sides more wary and more dangerous than ever. Ethiopia's landlocked status is at the heart of today's crisis. A nation of over 120 million, cut off from the sea, sees this as an existential threat. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has made Red Sea access a national priority, invoking history and survival in his calls for a port. His rhetoric, especially about the Eritrean port of Assab, has alarmed Asmara, which views any claim as a direct threat to its sovereignty. For Eritrea, the ports are not just economic assets but symbols of hard-won independence. The dispute over Assab is about more than geography. It's about identity, security, and the legacy of war. Both sides see the issue as non-negotiable, fueling a dangerous impasse. This fundamental clash, Ethiopia's quest for access versus Eritrea's defense of sovereignty, drives the current crisis. The collapse of the wartime alliance has triggered a new cycle of threats, accusations, and military buildup. Ethiopia's public calls for port access are met with Eritrean warnings of aggression, while both sides accuse each other of supporting proxy militias. Satellite images and local reports confirmed troop movements, and fortified positions along the border, creating a hair-trigger environment. Proxy warfare adds another layer of risk, with both governments backing armed groups to destabilize their rival. The potential for a small incident to spiral into full-scale war is higher than ever. International attention is limited, with global crises elsewhere distracting from the Horn's urgent needs. The lack of robust mediation emboldens hardliners on both sides. Without intervention, the region risks sliding into a catastrophic conflict. The Ethiopia-Eritrea standoff is unfolding in a region already destabilized by war in Sudan and ongoing turmoil in Somalia. The Horn of Africa's security is deeply interconnected, and a new conflict would have ripple effects far beyond the immediate border. The Red Sea's strategic importance draws in global powers, raising the stakes for any escalation. The risk of miscalculation is dangerously high, with military buildups and unresolved grievances fueling the fire. The window for de-escalation is closing fast. Regional and international actors must urgently step in to mediate, address core issues, and prevent disaster. The promise of 2018 is not yet lost, but only determined diplomacy can avert another tragedy. The future of the Horn of Africa depends on silencing the drums of war.